Miami's #1 hit music station, Y100. I'm looking at Craig David's face right now, and I kind of like it.
How are you, my love?
Thank you so much for coming in studio. Can you fill me in on what's been happening?
That little chestnut, of course.
See what I did
you're
there?
on it.
See what I
you
did
never
there?
lost it, see?
Oh my God.
You always got
It's
it.
just been 7 days since I was last listening to you.
And then nobody walking away from the situation right now.
Thank you for scooping that up for me.
Listen, I know you, don't worry. So you didn't even catch it. Did you catch
Nicely
that? Oh, I
done.
see you. Okay.
I know. High five over the screens.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in. By the way, speaking of I know you though, oh my God, what a bop. It is unstoppable. It's going to be like nonstop on my playlist.
Thank you. That means a lot. Do you know what I mean?
So how did that collaboration with Bastille come to play?
We met for the first time on a radio station in the UK. That was the first time us meeting, and Dan from Bastille wanted me to be on one of the mixtapes that Bastille do. And I was like, yeah, of course, let's do it. And in that period of time, that didn't happen, but we ended up, I performed on Apple Music Festival that they was on, and performed Fake It from their album, and then they performed 16, which uses Fill Me In over Justin Bieber's Where Are You Now?
How cool.
That went viral for a moment in the UK, and so we ended up actually cutting the record and put it on my last album. Now, I didn't know that Dan's go-to song when he was growing up was Fill Me In. So he's on stage at his own concert in front of his own fans, a sold out like festival he's performing at, and we're doing this 16 tune, and he was looking at me like he was that little kid again singing, I was checking this girl next door when her parents went out, and he's like, is this actually happening right now? And I'm like, bro. So we had that moment. Then the next thing, the stars aligned. I was in the studio working on a song, called up Dan, said, this song sounds like it feels like it would be amazing if you came in at this early stage and work on it. Next thing, he was like 5 minutes down the road in the same area.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you couldn't have asked for it. He said, listen, I'm going to finish my session. I'll come down. Next thing you know, we're starting to sing the melodies. I'm stumbling through the night. And I just looked at him, and when we finished the chorus, I said, are you getting that same feeling I'm getting from this? Because it feels like a special record. I've written so many songs in my career, but there's certain songs that, like Walking Away or 7 Days and Fill Me In, that I knew that there was something special with this. And he said, yeah, there's something. And then we did the lyrics, and it's all about inclusion and being with your mates, and it don't matter where you are, you're having the best time. And that's how I know you. So, yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. That's such a good, it's like it was meant to happen. It was totally like fate coming together for you guys.
Yeah, it really was. It was like I couldn't have asked for a better song for us, because it doesn't feel like it leans too far from what Bastille are known for their sound.
Yeah, it sounds very Bastille, but it sounds so you. It's just great.
And then when it gets to the drop, like you just get that, you think it's going to be the hands in the air thing, and then when it gets to the drop, you're like, ooh, okay. You feel that, oh, it's that kind of bop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was really happy with the record. And it's Fraser T. Smith who produced the record, who was my acoustic guitarist early back in the day, and since then has gone on to produce Adele and Stormzy and Dave. So he's
no big deal.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing.
So I did want to talk to you a little bit, because I did see an interview that is talking a little bit about the video for I Know You, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about a great memory that you had. What is like a banging memory that you have that you're like, oh my God, if I could relive that, I totally would?
Do you know what? Weirdly enough, like, and it may sound like, oh, he's just saying it because he's here and he's in the radio station, but I remember when I first came to Miami, and that was like around 2000 when I released the first album, Born to Do It. And I came into Y100, and I was doing interviews, and I was talking about my music and Born to Do It. And this is a 17-year-old kid at this time. To think that over 17 years, that to have sold all these millions of records and to have traveled the world, and then to now live in Miami and to have thrown a house party called TS5, which is the name of my apartment, and that ran for like 3-4 years as a house party, to see that then transition into something that I'm now standing on stage in front of 100,000 people at Glastonbury in the UK doing the same thing. To sit here and to speak to you about new music, and having people who are like, oh yeah, I remember that guy from like 7 Days, but then they hear I Know You, and they're like, it's relevant to the 14, 15-year-old kid who's now tuned in. That, for me, sitting here, is actually, I'm living life. I'm the happiest I could be to have 2 generations who are having conversations. In the UK, we had people like kids saying, oh, Mum, have you heard this new guy called Craig David? He's just dropped this brand new song. And they're like, Craig David? Let me tell you about Craig David. And they're going to pick out a CD from Born to Do It and start playing 7 Days. And I'm thinking, how is it that I'm relevant to both of you and you have your own stories? And I think that's probably the most exciting thing right now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I was actually going to ask TS5, born right here in Miami.
Yeah.
So it was just, one day you just had a few friends over and just started playing some tracks and doing your thing. How did TS5 become TS5?
Okay, so TS5 started off as literally playing a couple tunes on my playlist, couple of shots pre-gamer before we went out. And we're playing the music, and it'll be 1 minute playing some like nice little Biggie, some Juicy, a little Big Papa, and the next thing, you know, someone wants to start playing around with the playlist, and it then flips into Macarena or something.
Who would do that?
Someone who wants to make you very sober, very quick. The whole wave of being on the tequila, you get sober real quick when a tune like that comes on. When it hits in between a Biggie verse as well, I was like, you can't do this, yeah.
This cannot happen again.
Not in between a verse. Do you know what I mean? He's rapping this, so I pulled that back, and I ended up getting a little DJ controller set up, and they were like, okay, cool, you want to be Mr. DJ, because I used to DJ before I released my first album. I was doing my Technics 1210s, and I had my vinyl, so I've done that. I've done the box boy, carrying heavy boxes, and done all the, so I learned all my craft there, but it didn't necessarily travel with me when I released the first album, because it was like, boom, next thing we're in arenas, and I had a band, and so I've now got this DJ controller. They're like, okay, you want to be that guy? We need a mic then. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll host the party then. So now I'm hosting the party, and they're getting a little vibe. Then they're inviting a few friends over, and I was cool with that, because it was in my home, but I knew my friends would invite only people that would be cool too.
Yeah.
A few more friends start coming through, and next thing it's like, oh yeah, you're going to TS5 tonight. So people are messaging each other saying, oh, you're going out to TS5, you're going to TS5. Next thing you know, there's 100 people with a guest list and 2 security on my door to actually throw this party.
What?
Do you know what I mean? I've got so many cool friends, lovely Noah and Alex, and people who come through and just vibe there, and we'd have tequila shots like on the way in, but I'd still would use the DJ thing to stop me from getting too waved. So I'd be like, do you know what? Okay, that's cool. Let me just get back to the tune here. And then the person would go off, and I could make everyone feel VIP. That was the one thing for me that was really important with TS5. Because I've been to a lot of clubs, and I was kind of over the elitist thing of like, when you're in the VIP, you're meant to believe that wooden table is just life.
Yes.
And that vodka bottle is everything. And everyone inside of there is supposed to be having the best time. But yet, the person who's outside the red rope seems to have all this space, has got a drink in their hands, can go to the restroom when they want. And I was thinking, do you know what? I need to take this into my house. So when I threw the house party, I just got on the mic and I made everyone feel like you were, if you came in a nice dress, I'm giving you the shout outs. If it's my boy over there, I'm like, yeah, it's my boy Marco over here. And everyone's looking around, who's Marco? Okay, cool. And now he feels like top boy. And that's where TS5 was born. And then it just developed into people wanting mixtapes. Next thing you know, people picked it up in the UK and they were like, can you put this on radio for an hour? Can we listen to this house party?
Oh my gosh.
And then it went from there to doing a couple of small shows to see if this would work over in Europe and the UK. And it went from 250 capacity to 1,600 to 3,000 to 5,000 to us doing an arena tour, which was like 17,000 people.
That's crazy.
Coming out. So it's madness.
I know you're going to be right here in Miami, taking over the ground. So it's exciting. I mean, it's kind of where TS5 all started. It's like full circle at this point.
The most amazing thing, I think, is to actually take it out of my home in Miami as a house party and do it in a venue in Miami. That for me is a really big look.
I mean, I can imagine cleanup at your house was intense as it is. So it's nice to not have it at your house.
Oh, tell me about it. That's an amazing housekeeper. I'm not going to lie. The housekeepers, somehow I left the home and came back from the club and it seemed like there was no party that had gone on. So I tipped my cap to them. They were amazing.
Well, you have to give me their numbers as soon as we're done.
I'll sort you out. I got you.
So I have a game that I wanted to play with you because, listen, at house parties, you play games at times. So I wanted to play this or that.
Okay.
Are you up for that?
Yeah. As long as it has nothing to do with Macarena, because that was a game that they played on me and killed my vibe real quick.
It was going to be Biggie or Macarena, but I figured you were going to go for Biggie. So, hot or cold?
Let's keep it hot.
R&B and dance?
R&B all day.
Ah, boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Top or bottom?
Top.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Peanut butter and jelly?
I'll take the peanut butter if it's cool.
Hey, it's cool.
Because you did it peanut butter and jelly, so I'll just write.
That's true. I meant peanut butter or jelly.
Oh, or jelly. Because you were ready for the peanut butter and jelly on that nice little piece of bread with the butter, and you were ready.
I was ready for that.
Yeah. I'll go peanut butter on that one.
All right, at least we're on the same page.
I
had to end it on a PG note. I'm just going to throw that out there.
That's my girl.
Craig David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Hit music
on the radio
is what I need.
Miami's #1 hit music station. Y100.